Number 1. This just happened to me an hour ago. I live with my boyfriend and 3 other roommates in an apartment on top of a nail salon. So, to enter and exit our house, we have to go up and downstairs through the front and back doors. I was staying up late tonight writing a paper for school. My boyfriend had already gone to sleep, and I didn't want to bother him, so I went to do my work in the kitchen. Now, the kitchen is between the front and back doors, connected by a long, narrow hallway. My other housemates generally stay up late too. One of them, whose room is the closest to the front door, had just fed his cat and said goodnight to me about 5 minutes before 3 a.m. At around 3 in the morning, I heard a door open, and I thought it was my housemate who had just said goodnight to me. I thought he had forgotten something, or maybe he couldn't get to sleep, so he opened his door to come back into the kitchen. I peeped my head into the hallway to talk to him, but instead, I was greeted by a middle-aged dude in a dark hoodie, walking quietly up the stairs from my front door. Freaking out, I said, "Hello?" The dude stammered and responded, "Am I at the right house?" Probably not. What address are you looking for?" He responded, I'm going to the nail salon." "Yeah, you're at the wrong place. The nail salon is downstairs." Everyone is sleeping, so the halls are dark. The only light is coming from the kitchen where I was working. I couldn't see him clearly, but I was in the light, so he could probably see me clearly. Now, mind you, I'm tired, very tired. Only moments after he left, it finally hit me. Why did he ask if it was the right house, if he was going to the nail salon? Why was he walking up my stairs quietly in a dark hoodie? And the nail salon is closed at 3 in the morning. Obviously, one of my housemates had left the front doors unlocked, since me and my boyfriend never used the front doors. But how did he expect to easily open the doors to a nail salon at 3 a.m? Number 2. It was about 11 p.m. on December 31st, 2013. Me and my girlfriend were driving home from Wichita. We went there and we shopped a bit, and then we went to Hooters for dinner. It was my first time there, and the waitress hardly had Hooters, and the food itself was equal to Burger King. Very disappointing. Well, we started driving home, leaving the comfort of the well-lit city streets to the cold, dark, windy, deserted highway. It was a small highway, you know, the kind of roads that have one lane for each direction, separated only by a striped line. We were driving down this road, and I'm trying not to fall asleep. That day I was awake at 4 a.m. due to work, and a 10-hour shift didn't help the matter. So I was chain smoking, with the window down, letting in the ice-cold winds. My girlfriend was listening to some radio station that plays stuff like Justin Bieber, Tiger, etc. We'd made some progress on getting home, and now we were only about 20 minutes from Fredonia. Things were going good. Empty road except for the semi-truck that was about 5 to 10 cars length behind us. We were cruising at about 60, no real hurry to get home. The semi didn't seem to be in a rush either, so I was just utilizing the cruise control. Going good was about to change very quickly. At this point in time, I'm singing Kiss Me Through the Phone while it's on the radio. My girlfriend gets a good laugh out of it. I see a car off in the distance pulling onto the highway in the opposite lane I'm in, so they're coming towards me. I'd say they were about a mile up the road. As they get closer, I realize they have their brights on, so I stop singing, and I flashed my brights at them to let them know. This didn't work. My girlfriend was checking her Instagram or something at the time, and she was totally oblivious to what was going on. As this car gets closer and the headlights get more blinding, I start paying more attention to the road ahead of me, trying to avoid looking towards his car. His car was about 50 feet in front of me, and I'm relieved I'll be able to see the road again once he passes me. However, I notice his car is starting to swerve into my lane, and I'm still going 60 miles an hour. He was going about the same speed as me. After processing what was going on, more than half of his car was in my lane, coming straight towards me. I swerved towards the ditch. I see his headlights pass me, and there was only a few feet separating us. I instantly look up into the rearview mirror while still driving down the highway. My girlfriend starts freaking out, asking me what was going on. I'm silent, still staring into the rearview mirror. I see his taillights and his car overlapping the semi's headlights. Then I see the car's taillights go up into the air about 6 feet, and then it spins across the highway. In an effort to help, I turn around. My girlfriend realized what happened once we got to the scene of the crash. I get out of my car to be greeted with the debris of what was left of the Infiniti G35. Covering the highway were small chunks of body panels and a few engine parts. The truck driver warned me to stay away from the car that was hit. I looked at it from a distance, and the front end was pushed into the cabin of the car. I did not want to see the condition of the driver, but from the condition of the car, I would say he was dead on impact. The cop said that the crash was due to the driver texting and driving. Please, don't text and drive. Number 3. This happened about 7 years ago, when I was around 15 years old. My mum and I had decided to spend the day shopping, and once we got to the mall, we split up and decided to meet up later once we were finished. I went along with my own business, walking around and having a look at clothes and bags and whatnot, though I found it funny that I kept noticing the same 50 to 60-year-old man wandering around wherever I was over the span of 1 to 2 hours. At first, I just wrote it off as a funny coincidence, though at some point I'd seen him one too many times, and it clicked in my brain that something wasn't right. The mall was pretty large, so there was very little chance that I would consistently be seeing this same guy wherever I went. I decided to test my theory by going into one of the most girly stores I could find, and stayed in there for about 10 minutes or so, just pretending to shop. I had decided that if I left the shop and I saw the man out there, that there was a fair chance he was following me, and that I should definitely find security to be safe. And if he wasn't there, then it was just a coincidence, and I was just being overcautious. When I felt like I'd been inside there enough time, I left the shop and I looked around, relieved to find that the man was nowhere in sight. Happy, I turned around the corner to head back to my mum's agreed meeting spot, and to my horror, I came face to face with, you guessed it, the same middle-aged man. I apologized for being in the way, and I started to walk quickly to the center of the mall. When I looked back, I noticed that the man had turned around and was walking quickly in the same direction as me. I panicked, and I turned a corner, and I sprinted into a nearby handbag shop, and I ducked behind the counter, much to the surprise of the shop's employee. I watched the man walk out into the open space I had just come from, and look around. I had no doubt now that he was following me, and I immediately told the worker what was happening, and that she needed to call security. I called my mum, and we met up with security within minutes. I gave a description of the guy, and I told them which shops I had been to, but they said that they couldn't really do anything but look through the security footage and let us know if anything came of it. My mum gave them her number, and we left. After a while, I had forgotten about the entire incident, though my mum was adamant that we would never shop at that particular mall again. A few years later, we were talking about close calls, and I brought up the man at the mall. My mum revealed to me that the security did end up calling her the very next day, and told her that once they had reviewed the security tapes, they realized that the man I had described had been close on my tail the entire time I was shopping. At one point, he was even sitting directly beside me on a chair when I sat down to text a friend. Apparently, creeps like this found young girls who appeared to be on their own and waited for their victims to go into the bathroom, only to follow them in afterwards. Mum hadn't told me this at the time because she didn't want to freak me out, though, knowing what I know now, I feel extremely lucky that I didn't need to go to the bathroom during that trip. Since then, I've been a lot more aware of my surroundings when I go out. Hey guys, Lazy here, and thank you very much for listening. Keep sending in your own experiences for a chance to have them narrated on this channel. I'll have the Halloween special coming very soon, and that's going to be posted on my other channel, so stay tuned for that. Stay spooky, and remember, the best things happen in the dark.